goodness me, there's so much rubbish in my pencil case. Let me get my pencils out. Let me get them neatly arranged before we begin, and then I can select the correct colors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I feel like recently my hair has gone through a growth spurt. Is that a thing? Does that happen? I'm just noticing now that my hair it's flippy flopping all over your face. Flippy flopping all over your face, goodness me. You don't mind, do you? You don't mind? I didn't think so. You look quite comfortable there, despite my hair flippy flopping all over your face. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm looking at my colours here. And I think the green is calling me today. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to begin over here. Oh yes, look at that. Your face is taking the color so well. So perfectly well. You might be the perfect canvas. The perfect specimen. That's what you are. You're the perfect specimen. You know, recently I noticed this thing on my nose. You might be able to see it. I always just thought it was a spot, and I just kind of ignored it. But it turns out it's like a scar from rosacea. I think my rosacea is pretty mild, personally. I've seen people with a lot worse. And obviously, you know, in this circumstance, this situation, I have a bright light shining on my face, you know, so you can't see it quite as much as it is sometimes obvious, you know what I mean? Sometimes my nose looks red as heck. But with a big, bright ring light shining on it, just a few inches from my face, it almost looks normal. But yes, this little thing that I've got on my nose that kind of looks like a red spot, it's a scar from rosacea. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I actually started learning about it a little bit more, trying to understand how I can get rid of the rosacea. And apparently it's mostly diet related, right? And it's mostly just inflammation, like chronic inflammation. And it's linked to all sorts of other chronic inflammatory problems that I have, like IBS, things like that, you know, digestive problems. If you've ever had IBS or digestive problems, anything like that, you know the struggle is real, my friend, the struggle is real. But I was given a list of 6 foods that are the most common causes of rosacea, and I eat 5 of them every single day in large quantities. They're my favorite foods. So that sucks in a way, because it means I gotta give up 5 of my favorite foods if I want to resolve this rosacea. But I do also think that if I solve this issue, this rosacea, then I will solve other issues as well with my health. I think it is all linked. It is all linked to chronic inflammation from certain foods. I think the main culprits, I'm switching. Shall I switch to a blue or shall I switch to a yellow? Yellow or blue? rosacea. Not good at all. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. And I pretty much eat salsa like every single day. Like an entire tub. An entire tub. I actually had to stop having tortilla chips and salsa. Obviously tortilla chips, they're not healthy for you, my friend. They're not healthy for you. They are filled with an ungodly amount of salt and processed oil. And yes, my blood pressure was going up, and I was beginning to experience some heart palpitations and some general little pains. Concerning. Apparently that is also sort of linked to rosacea, or they're common. It's common for these things to occur together. You know what I'm saying? People with rosacea, they will often have problems with blood pressure and feelings like that too, you know, feelings related to blood pressure. Things like that. So yes, I had to give up eating the tortilla chips. Delicious tortilla chips. I can no longer have them. I suppose I can, but you know, slightly negative impact on my health. So we must not really. We must limit them at least somewhat, if not totally. I want to try a period of time where I strictly follow these rules, where I don't consume any of these foods, these trigger foods that are known to make rosacea worse. I want to strictly follow that for perhaps, I would say 6 weeks to 8 weeks to see if there is noticeable improvement or not. I would say 6 to 8 weeks is a long enough period of time to notice genuine improvement, you know what I'm saying? I think that's enough time. I was also told, I got most of this information from ChatGPT, by the way. Most of this information from ChatGPT. Do you know what? ChatGPT is better than any doctor I have ever been to. By a mile. It's not even close. And I kind of have this natural aversion to AI. I kind of don't want AI to be good, because I don't want AI to replace human beings. Of course. I think perhaps especially creatively, right? But in this case, when it comes to medical things, medical diagnosis and help, I mean, AI is blowing doctors out of the water. You know what I'm saying? My experiences with AI are so much better than my experiences with doctors. It's unbelievable. Not even comparable. Obviously, the only thing that doctors can do that AI can't is prescribe medication to you, prescribe drugs. I can actually see a future where AI is given the authority to prescribe drugs and medication, and at that point I think they actually will just totally and utterly replace doctors. The only other thing, I suppose, is physical examinations, right? How can AI physically examine a person unless we give them robot bodies? And at that point, I mean, they will be basically fully fledged individuals. They'll basically be like human beings, but will they have a soul? Will the AI robots have a soul? You know what? I'm going to treat them nicely, regardless of whether or not they have a soul. Even if they are just a glorified toaster or microwave, I'm going to treat them nicely. I'm going to treat them like a human being. Just in In which case, they can go flip themselves, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They go flip themselves. If they be mean to me, I'd be mean to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about that reciprocating energy. I'm all about reciprocating energy. Not only matching energy, but amplifying it. You know what I'm saying? Amplifying it. Somebody does something bad to me, I want to do something bad to them, but 100 times greater. You know what I'm saying? So that they learn a lesson. And the lesson is, don't flip with me. Don't flip with me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to you though. I'm not talking to you. You're an adorable little creature, aren't you? Yes, you are. You are an adorable little creature. A friendly little being. A friendly little being. You would never be intentionally mean to me, would you? You would never leave a hate comment, would you? You would never say something like, Ross, your teeth are yellow. No. You would never say something like, Ross, you got a big ugly nose. No. You would never say something like that. You would never. I can tell. You're a good little being, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let me get another color. I think we shall use the blue now. We shall use the blue now. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here we go. Do you think we will realistically see AI robots in our lifetime? I loosely follow that Brian Johnson guy. Do you know him? The longevity guy. The guy that wants to live forever and ever and ever. And he regularly talks about how humanity will likely integrate with AI, I guess, within our lifetime. I think I've seen him say something like, within 50 years, we will have like AI robots and things like that. I think that might be a little bit optimistic myself. 50 years, do you think so? I know technology kind of sometimes advances like exponentially, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of progress is made in a short period of time. But I don't know. I don't think there's going to be AI robots walking around in public in 50 years' time. Maybe there will be a few special models that like the super rich will have, you know what I'm saying? Maybe like billionaires will have them. And then like some rich streamer will have one and will live stream with their AI robot. I bet that will happen. But I don't think they will be like commercially available. I don't think the average person will have an AI robot companion within like 50 years. Maybe 100 years. Maybe. I don't know. I probably won't be around to see that time period. I'm old. I'm an old little creature. Old. That's okay though. Maybe it's a good thing. That I won't get to see robots walking around. Although I think it would be fun. But society will change drastically with the introduction of robots, don't you think? Because what do you think it will realistically look like? I imagine a lot of people will be put out of work, right? They won't have jobs. And if that's the case, then how will we support such people? Economically speaking, I think we will need to completely redesign our system. Our current system is not appropriate for a world in which robots exist and maybe do the majority of the work. We would need something like universal credit, something where people just receive like a very low amount of money that is enough to like subsist on and survive on. And then, perhaps they can do some small jobs or something to supplement that income. So I don't know. I'm not an economist, not an economist. I'm just a silly little idiot that makes silly little videos, We need to leave these things to the smart people of the world. I'm too stupid. I will relinquish the future to smarter people. The only dangerous thing about that, though, of course, is what if evil people are left in charge, and what if they do evil things? What if they create a system that exploits the lowly peasants like myself? Maybe it exploits us and it is advantageous to them themselves, to the creators of the system, Maybe it keeps them rich and it keeps us poor. But that definitely doesn't exist already. No. That definitely doesn't exist currently. No. You don't need to worry about that, my friend. You don't need to worry about that. Let us just keep drawing and having a lovely little time. Do you know what I think? I think the only thing that genuinely, truly matters is the here and the now. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm not saying that you should completely disregard the future and act in a crazy, hedonistic way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we should be drinking and partying every single day, and we should be spending our money recklessly and not thinking about the future. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the only thing that can be genuinely guaranteed in life is the here and the now. The here and the now. So I do believe it is very important for us to prioritize the here and the now, to enjoy it whilst we can. Again, not suggesting that we go crazy, hedonistic style. No drinking. No excessive drinking anyway. No orgies, okay? Stop it. I know you. You've been attending orgies, haven't you? Stop it. You naughty little hedonist. I'm being silly. I'm joking. Okay, but I'm just saying we should appreciate the here and the now. We should appreciate what we have. And we shouldn't stress about the future and about big things that are either out of our control entirely or at least partially out of our control, right? All we should do, in my opinion, is we should try our best, and what happens. There's no use stressing about it. What is that stress going to do? It's going to do nothing. In fact, it's going to decrease your quality of life, and it might even make you anxious or depressed or angry or frustrated or something like that, and then you might end up in a bad mood, and you take it out on other people, on the people that you love and that you care about in your day-to-day life, and that's no good, is it? That is no good at all. That's why I believe it is important not to stress. Do not stress about the future or the big things, and to just live in the here and the now as much as possible. Be grateful for what you currently have, even if it doesn't seem like very much. Maybe sometimes you look at other people and you feel jealous, I do. I shall admit it, my friend. Sometimes I look at other people and I think, why do they have so much and I have so little? Am I unworthy of having what they have? Are they more worthy than me? Am I a loser? That's what I think sometimes. And that's what I feel. And then I feel jealousy and envy. I'm like, I want what they have. But such feelings are unproductive and are silly and stupid. And many of them are invalid, Just because somebody has more than you or better circumstances in life, it doesn't mean that they are more worthy than you. It doesn't mean that you are less worthy than them. We are all equally worthy, my friends. We are all beautiful little creations of God. God's creatures. Maybe some of us aren't, traditionally beautiful. Maybe some of us are a little bit lumpy and weird looking. Maybe some of us are a little bit ugly looking. But we're still all creatures of God, and God loves us all. I believe that. I believe it. I believe that, we're all equally worthy of everything. And you know what? I think it is possible that all of us can achieve our dreams and can have a wonderful life, wonderful, fulfilling life, and we can be happy and content with everything. And maybe at the end of this life, before we transition to the next, whatever that may be, I think we can feel a sense of happiness and contentment and fulfillment, like, yes, that went quite well actually. You know what? All things considered, in the end, my life was pretty good actually, all things considered. Even though some bad things happened, even though I spent too much time stressing about bad things that could have happened and the future and big things that I couldn't really control, I spent too much time stressing about that, but all in all actually, life was pretty good. I think that all of us can feel that, at the end of this life before we go on to the next one. You know what I think? I think the transition from this life to the next is like, it's going to be like going into another room. You open the door, you go into the other room, and you close the door, you know what I'm saying? And the previous room, it's closed off to you. It's seemingly gone. It's still there, obviously. It still happened. But you're in the new room now. And that's it. I think it may be as simple as that, my friend. It may be as simple as that. I guess we won't know for certain until it happens. And maybe we won't even know then because we won't remember. Maybe we will have little echoes of memories, Maybe we have echoes of memories. That's how some people, they can see visions of themselves in a past life. Or they feel like they've met somebody in multiple lives, like soulmates. Soulmates, when you meet somebody that you love and you connect with so much in this life, and then you meet them again in the next life. You meet them again, and you have multiple lives together. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that absolutely wonderful? This is looking quite nice, but you know what? I think it would look even better with an orange. Let's get some orange on these edges, shall we? Can you hear that? Very subtle crinkling sound. I can't always make it either. I've got some sellotape on your face, my friend. I've got some sellotape on your face. Just to make things a little bit easier, Keep you nice and steady. Keep you nice and steady and still whilst I draw on your face. Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying this, my friend? Is it nice and relaxing for you? Is it nice and relaxing? I hope so. I like making these little colourful pieces of art. Even if they're small and maybe silly, maybe some people wouldn't even consider it to be art, but it is art, my friend. Any creative little process, it is art. It is art. Maybe some people don't fully appreciate other's efforts in the same way that we can appreciate like our own child's drawings, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because we're all just trying our best, really, aren't we? We're all just trying our best. But sometimes we aren't really appreciative or nice to other people in the way that we could be or possibly should be. Imagine if we considered everybody in the same way that we would consider our own child. Imagine if we thought of other people as like our children. That sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy. Maybe what if we considered other people like fellow children of God? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We're all wonderful little creations, lovely little beings. Why don't we treat each other like that all the time? Why don't we have a little bit more compassion and understanding and love for one another? Maybe it's just because we feel a bit hungry or something. You know, that happens to me a lot. That happens to me a lot. I don't eat for a while and then I get very grumpy. I get very grumpy indeed. And sometimes my grumpiness, maybe I take it out on other people. Not too much, not too badly, you know. I'm not too bad to other people. But sometimes I'm grumpy. Sometimes I don't engage with people in the way that perhaps I should. I don't give them the full attention that they deserve, and the full consideration, the full compassion, the full love that they deserve. Simply because I haven't had food in a while. And I'm hungry. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how our moods and our behaviors alter so much depending on something as seemingly trivial as having food? You know what concerns me ever so slightly? It's the idea that maybe we are just like purely biochemical creatures. And by that I mean, you know, a good example is seasonal depression, right? Seasonal depression occurs in the winter months when you don't have sun exposure because you become vitamin D deficient, and the vitamin D deficiency causes you to experience depression. What if that is how almost everything works? What if all of our thoughts and our feelings and our emotional states and our mental states are just a result of like chemistry, biology, a lack of a vitamin, a lack of a nutrient, something like that, you know? In a way that would make me sad, because it would make me think that we are basically just like glorified Venus flytraps. You know what I'm saying? I've had this thought many times before. You know how a Venus flytrap, it basically just reacts to physical stimuli, right? It just sits there. And then when it feels something touch it, it snaps closed. It snaps closed. And hopefully it snaps closed around a fly or an insect, and then it eats it. And that's how it survives, right? What if we are just big Venus flytraps? Slightly more complex. What if we're just reacting to stimuli? What if when we feel good and happy it's just because we've had enough food, we've had enough nutrients and vitamins? What if when we feel the depths of despair and depression, it's just because we haven't had enough sunshine? There's some sort of nutrient deficiency. In a way that's good, of course, because it means that all problems have a physical solution that could potentially be easy to resolve. But on the other hand, it makes me feel like I'm just a mechanical being. And I don't like that thought for some reason. I like the thought that I have a soul, and that all living things have a soul, and that there is some sort of divine, mystical, magical element to us. And I don't even mean that in the sense that I want us to be like grandiose and important and divine and mystical. I just want us, it just feels like we would be more real physical beings, mechanical beings, basically, biomechanical beings. There is something off-putting about that idea to me. But I believe that we have a soul. I believe it. And I think it's probably difficult, possibly impossible, to really measure or quantify like the soul, right? But I think that you can feel the soul present in people and animals too. Sometimes I encounter a doggy or a cat or something like that, and I can feel their soul. I can feel the animal's soul, 100%. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that this joyous little animal has a soul, just like me. Maybe we're a little bit different. Maybe a little bit less complex, more complex, whatever it might be. But still we have souls. That's what I think. That's what I think and feel anyway. Are you getting sleepy? Are you getting sleepy? Are you getting tired of my inane rambling? My stupidity? Maybe we shall leave it here for today. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. We can always do this again, can't we? In the future. Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. We can do this again together later in the future. For now, though, I'm going to say goodbye.